Homestuck is one of the most innovative and brilliant works of fiction of this generation. It's also one of the most influential. If you've enjoyed works of fiction as varied as Undertale, Steven Universe, or Overwatch, then you'd probably find something to like in Homestuck. And you definitely have its influence to thank for helping to push the gaming, webcomics, and cartooning industries to the vibrant spaces we currently enjoy. Homestuck has consistently pushed the envelope on well-written female characters, LGBT representation, and the very boundaries of what's possible regarding how stories can be told through animation, games, writing, and even web design. It's inspired endless amounts of fan art in a notoriously passionate fan community, and changed the landscape and structure of both fandom and the creative industries fandom sustains in ways that still reverberate today. And yet, despite all its success, for a lot of people, Homestuck is completely impenetrable. Getting into Homestuck means hours of entirely worthwhile reading and research, and unwavering focus and attention if you actually want to understand everything going on. And because it's so complicated, even longtime fans struggle to explain what the comic is really about or why it appeals to them. There are a lot of people who might be interested in Homestuck who simply can't put in the time and effort to understand it, and that's where I come in. If you're a Homestuck fan who wishes they had a fun, easy way to explain the comic to other people, or you want to revisit the comic with a guide providing new, well-researched insight, or if you're someone who's heard about the comic through Hiveswap, Undertale, or just caring about nerd stuff, and you want the chance to understand it without having to do a lot of reading yourself, then this project is for you. Hey there, I'm Optimistic Duelist. I'm a writer and media critic who loves the shit out of Homestuck, and I'm here to help you see how much there is to love about it too. I'm going to make it fun, easy, and enjoyable, and I'm going to do it by creating the first fully self-contained artistic critique of Homestuck in its entirety, designed from the ground up for a casual audience. And I want you, whether you're a long-term fan or just someone who's interested in the comic, to be part of it. Here's how it works. As you can see, I've crafted an outline for an entire series covering Homestuck beginning to end. But I'm not trying to recap plot points beat by beat. That would be boring to listen to, and take forever, so you may as well read or watch the comic instead. The good folks at Voxus have created a pretty great voice-acted version of most of it. Instead, this series will focus on establishing Homestuck's internal logic and prevalent themes from the ground up, piece by piece, including things like particular game mechanics or the rules of the Homestuck universe. Lucky for us, each of the concepts Homestuck uses is incredibly innovative and interesting on its own terms, which means I have the luxury of explaining each building block to you in videos that are perfectly entertaining on their own. We can then refer to those videos as necessary in order to explain the what, how, and why of any particular part of the story, allowing us to basically build an understanding of the story as a whole, as if assembling a tower out of blocks. If you want to get an idea of what these videos will look and sound like, then good news! You can do that. I've already uploaded part 1 of this series, and you can watch it right now by clicking here. Longtime fans can also read my essays covering a variety of subjects related to Homestuck here. Now, here's how this series will work. I impose some structure on the series progressions. The videos must be completed from left to right as you see them on the chart. But the videos stacked onto columns are the fun part. Pledging to send me at least $1 a month on Patreon will give you one vote on which video in the series you want completed first, whenever we're at a column of videos. These votes will continue in succession until all videos in the column are finished and we can move on to the next section of the story. Patrons will also be granted membership to a Discord server where they can talk to me and fellow patrons. My hope is that by forming a community of people invested in deep thought about Homestuck and in discussing the details of the comic and how to get its themes across to a wider audience, we can take Homestuck fandom to a new extreme. And of course, being in such close proximity means your ideas about Homestuck could ultimately help shape or inform how I make these videos, making you a part of the project itself. Higher tiers of patronage will get access to drafts of my work, so everyone can be sure that I am actively working hard on this. They won't get more votes, since the idea of making this a system where you can pay to be louder leaves kind of a bad taste in my mouth, but instead, they will get extra invitations to the Discord server that they can give out to friends who can't afford to pledge themselves. Each invitee will also get a vote on videos, hopefully making this a more vibrant and exciting project for everyone. There's also other rewards available for different tiers of patronage you can check out on the Patreon. And as I get better at this and hear more about what kinds of rewards you guys might be interested in, I'm likely to expand those in the future. Before any money gets sent to me, however, we need to lay down some ground rules. Here's what your patronage doesn't get you. Number 1, the right to have me agree with you. I love talking about Homestuck, and I greatly enjoy the massive variety of different interpretations of the comic. It makes for great conversation with any fan. If this is successful, I can even imagine showcasing some of those interpretations on the channel down the line. But I can't promise your personal ideas about Homestuck will feature in the main series. This project aims to render Homestuck's broad strokes accessible to a wide audience, and in order to craft a vision that focused, there needs to be at least some focus on how Homestuck as a work can affect an individual, and in this case, that individual will primarily be myself. There are times when I'll include different interpretations from the fandom, for sure, but I have a particular experience of Homestuck, one that's fairly unique I might add, and as a critic, mine is the only experience I can really focus on. Number 2. The right to be cruel to me or other patrons. Every patron will get an invite to the Discord server. However, disagreement about Homestuck is part of the fandom experience and it can get very intense. It is vital to the overall atmosphere of the server to remain friendly, inclusive, and mutually understanding, in order to host the variety of viewpoints that the Homestuck fandom contains. For that reason, people who are mean, aggressive, or overly toxic may at times have to be removed. I will always try to encourage mutual understanding over exclusion, but moderation is vital to any healthy community, so even where money's involved, boundaries have to be set. On top of this main series, I'll also be making Homestuck analysis videos. These are more long-form, specific works targeting long-term fans that will probably sound a lot like my earlier essays. I have a lot of writing about Homestuck ahead of me on all sorts of different subjects, but you can get an idea of the kinds of things I've already thought to write about here. As you can tell, there's a pretty broad range of discussions to be had here, so hopefully some of these will pique your curiosity. I'm also going to be doing lore and analysis videos on Hiveswap, in particular about any elements of Hiveswaps that are informed by the background lore of Homestuck in ways that may not be obvious to a casual player. You can expect these videos to look something like Undertale analysis pieces like H-Bomber Guys, or maybe VaatiVidia's work on the Souls franchise. Oh, and one last thing. I set my rewards and goals simply according to what I need to survive, while also being careful not to promise things I couldn't deliver. I'm going to try and make these videos regardless of how successful this campaign is, because Homestuck matters to me, and I think it's worth talking about. The reason I'm on Patreon at all, then, is that I'm genuinely not sure I can survive doing anything else. I don't want to bore anyone with the details of my personal life, so the bottom line is that anxiety and probably autism that I can't afford to get treatment or help for have combined to render me far less employable than I used to be. I sort of need help. Talking about Homestuck is something I'm good at, something I know I can do, and being entertaining and informative about this truly unprecedented property is the best thing I think I can be doing to help others through the interesting times that we're living in. But it's also pretty much all I can do, and if I'm not able to do it for a living, I'm honestly not sure how much longer I'm going to be able to keep living at all. I don't want that to be a reason you support this project if you can't do so or wouldn't otherwise, because things are about that bad for a lot of people, and many have it worse than me. It's just the reality of my situation, and if I'm going to be asking people for money, I'm damn well going to be transparent about why. So, if helping someone through some desperate times and getting some completely unique content out of it sounds appealing to you, then I guess you can get that out of your patronage too. The knowledge that you're helping at least one person make it through these troubled times a little longer. I decided to do this because I realized I could help solve a genuine communication problem between Homestuck fans and the wider fandom community, and in some ways, maybe even between Homestuck fans and Homestuck itself. After giving it a little thought, I realized there would probably be about 2,000 people out there for whom this project would be worth $1 a month, or maybe 1,000 to whom it's worth $2 a month. When you break the numbers down that way, it doesn't really seem so insurmountable a goal to reach for. And as this is hopefully also the beginning of an exciting new community, as well as a completely unprecedented fandom project, I don't want anyone to think any contribution is too small. Please feel free to reblog, share, or retweet this video. Or just tell your friends about this cool new Homestuck thing you found. The more people we get on board, the better. I've seen Homestuck fandom create amazing things before, so I'm hoping this time will become one of those memories. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon.